So today I want to talk about Berlin, the city I live in, and to be a bit more specific about it, I live in the east or in Friedrichshain, which is a little section of Berlin, and I think it is as much of Berlin as you think of it. I think like everything most people are connecting with Berlin is represented in this area. Even more than in others. There are like different parts of Berlin, it's like a little game itself, right? Especially if you go in like in the more political sense, right? It's a, how they say it, a progressive city. And I think especially in this area, the progressiveness is really far. I think it's probably the most progressive part of Berlin, and like I think that I made some notes actually for once, I think we would just go through them, and I think it would give you a good picture of what the city looks like, or how it feels like. I don't know. I mean, you make up your own mind. So. At first, you have, of course, a lot of left propaganda. And not just left propaganda, it's also that people are so motivated or so convinced of this side of the spectrum that also the right wing, the AfD, they're like censored. Like, actually, like if they would like to hang out... anything that's related to it is like getting taken down in a day or something. It reminds me of this, like that normies are like the agents of the Matrix, right? So there's like a lot of people watching out, because I used to be for like just a couple meetings. I tried to hook up with like a group, a right wing group. It was just like a bunch of guys, like, I don't know, 10 guys maybe. And they gave me some stickers. I still have them, like most of them. Because I think I only hang up one. I hang one sticker, and it was gone in 2 days. It took 2 days, I remember that. I think that was quite something. And also a little funny thing on the side. There was a little marking somebody made. I don't remember what the first phrase was. But it was something like that, like Israel is like the bad guy, right? And that thing got like instantly. I don't know what it was. I don't remember too much. It was like something bad. It was something bad, so it got like scraped over or something. With like some other text. Some Antifas came and like did their thing, and then like a week later. He wrote on it again on the same thing, because like we have like these painters that once a month or something paint something over when they not on everything, of course, but sometimes they do it on some things. And those was one thing, so it was blank again, and then the guy wrote a new line, and that one I remembered was Israel stinks like a Nazi. And that one was actually there for quite some time. I don't know, maybe 3 weeks or something. And then somebody decided that's too much. But yeah, it's like a own little fun game with like the politics of like, because there are right wingers in the city, of course. Probably not a lot, but they're here. And because I also see like fuck Nazi sticker, those are like super common. Like also one I think was a bit more creative. There was one sticker called or was like on it like an eye, then like a brick, and then Nazis. Brick Nazis. I think it was kind of funny, not gonna lie. So I like when they do some more creative takes on it, But yeah, it's like a little on game ski, especially on like the more right winger side, like trying to, say something, but not too much, because otherwise it's being like censored and cancelled immediately. And this, of course, also translates into language and how we communicate. So, and of course, like how can something like this happen, right? Because in other parts of the country, it's different, right? Like uh, when there's like voting, right? Then they hang up the posters for the candidates and shit like that, right? And like I think the AfD doesn't even bother with Berlin anymore because they're all getting taken down. As far as I know, it's like there's like rules and shit like that, right? So it's like not supposed to be like that, but it's Berlin, so I guess nobody cares or something. And um, yeah, because I remember like you don't see any AfD right wing party like posters anywhere here. And if they're getting taken down immediately, and even the CDU, like the more like supposedly softly right middle right something party, like the Boomer party, like even that one is getting taken down at occasions. Um, yeah, that's something, man. And also the AfD cannot have a bureau here in Berlin, and they tried like multiple times, but every time they get one, it's being like raided instantly by Antifas. And so like even the landlords of Berlin don't even want to rent it out to the AfD because like it's like an unwritten rule at this point, you know. Um, yeah, and I mean, like, of course you can say, like, can happen and shit like that. But I think that's crazy, man. I think that's like, uh, I mean, like, I mean, make up your own mind, right? So yeah, and how can even this happen? How can even be a city of yeah, so many people, right? Like, how can they be like that? And it's because I think they're the good guys. Because the left side is, especially what most people consume, and also what most people talk about, talk from, is like this, like good mensch ideology that it's about being morally good, and they're getting the morally high ground. But as we might find out in later sections of my notes, it's a facade. It's um, it's an image. It's LARPing. It's live action role play. Like it's like, oh, I get like they tell me that this and this is good, and then I live this and this, and now I'm good. It's like, and also what we might find out over the time is that they have a lot of in common, like with like what you have in picture of a mind of a Nazi, right? A Nazi that just follows the life that the Führer has given him, with the BDM and the Hitler Youth, right? Yeah, and like here they're just taking on this like pre-made image that they're getting from above, right? But I mean, the Berliners right now, of course, they're free-thinking people, and nobody would doubt that. We will go on. Something more obvious, right? It's a city of crazy people, and it's the second thing I wrote down. It's that men turn into women and women turn into men, and you have like this like butchering and eliminating of your gender traits. Of course, not everyone does it, but I personally think, I don't know, when it's common. Like it's not everyone, of course, but it's common. And personally, if I go around in Friedrichshain, especially, it's one of the like it because it's part of this like political shit, right? And it's interesting because like that's what this like agenda is all about. It's about eliminating nature, and it even goes into the deepest levels at this point. And people still think it's a good thing. I can just hope it's a phase for most, but I think there's people getting stuck on it, and either way, it's on the other hand, it's a good thing that people are very expressive, and so it makes it with a lot of people you can already tell for people like me, I guess, to stay away from, right? There's like no reason, right? Like they always say, oh, I like to talk, I like to, communicate, even if you have different ideas and stuff like that. But then you talk about things where they cannot. It's like they have like a rule that no, this thing is not questioned. And right, we have in Germany this one law. You basically have like you can be able to you can think about what you want except the Holocaust. Right, that's like the only thing you cannot doubt, basically. And I think that is rather fair, I guess, right? I mean, but like for the normal people, there's a lot of more things that shall not be questioned. Yeah, and also like we have a complete distance to natural living. It's like a completely, and not just domesticated. I don't know. It feels sometimes like a farm, I don't know, sitting in this like 1 meter or 1 x 1 meter cage. And I mean, that's of course a thing of a city. But I don't know, it's like so much shit that you were able to do is, I don't know, it's just getting worse, I remember like Christmas market, I don't know. I mean, that's something people from the countryside drive to a city to do or something like that, right? And there's multiple things like that, but I don't know. Like, most of those things kind of suck. And I mean, there's a lot of, like Germany is supposedly the land of the thinkers and writers or something. But and you have like this like kind of thing, right? Like poetry slams or what they call it, where people are expressing thoughts, words, shit like that, and it can be sometimes nice, but most of the times it's like left shit, right? It's like really really left stuff where it's like more of like inside jokes if you're like really into the ideology, and it's like you have to take a lot of shit for granted, especially like what they tell in the media, right? And like for example, an easy example is supporting the Ukraine, and like the left parties, they were like, or like this left ideology thing. It's like I see it as a whole complex, like it. Yeah, it pretty much all agreed on that we need to support the Ukraine, right? Because like we are the good guys, and the Ukraine is the good guys, and the Russia is the big bad guy, right? So we need to support the little underdog Ukraine so they can fight off the big bad guy. That's like kind of like their logic. Of course, you just forget about like fucking poor Russians being butchered by Leopard's A2 or something. But it's like don't question it too much. That's like I think the whole motto, like the whole slogan of this left propaganda, or like Gutmensch propaganda. Like back to the topic, like so like the things you can do is like if you're like not in sync, there's like actually not so much shit you can do. Also like if you have like problems finding like somebody like you, right, because you're not synced, like there's even less you can do, to be fair. And also something like nothing is yours. Like of course a lot of shit you use is not yours. I don't have a car, I use public transport. I rented this apartment, right? And I mean, it could be worse, right? It could be to a point that I don't even own my video games and my Clash Royale account and stuff like that. Yeah, actually, I don't own these either. But at least I own my PC. I mean, I own nothing what it is running with, but I own my PC. Yeah, I don't know, mate. And in the end, it's a low trust society, right? So on the trust pyramid, we're on the lowest ground, where most people just trust themselves and maybe their family. But there is this like, right, it's like trusting yourself, trusting your blood, and then it's trusting like your community, your locals, your friends and shit like that. And I think even especially in friendship, it already shows that people don't trust so much. Like people are really in survivor mode, right? Um, and and I don't think I'm projecting there, because it's just because I want to trust. It's like I want to believe, I want to trust, and I can tell with the people I've met in the city, they don't want to trust. And it's interesting that, when I was on travels, when I was with people in a different country alone and shit like that, they had way more interest in trusting, gaining trust, working on trusting, of course it's more important maybe on a travel or something like that, but um, it's you're still complete strangers, and in Berlin theoretically you should have this like benefit of being in one community, right? But of course the community part is interestingly redesigned in Berlin, let's say it like that. And so it kind of goes to the point that most people just trust themselves, and maybe a little bit ski, and then they get, how you say, disappointed, crushed, and then they go back to just trusting themselves. Especially when I was in the social working side, like or not the social working, like the social institutions, right, where they're helping the poor Berlin citizens. There was basically also like a thing, like nobody was able to trust a stranger, and I don't know, it's something. Of course, the love life is something for its own. I wrote down, it's like a gamble at best or a scam at worst, and because probably the best odds you have is by working. Because I think you need to see the person you like multiple times, and then it can go somewhere, even more better if you have the same, time or something like that. That's why it is like somewhat easy in school, and that's why work can help, or like going to study, right, or something like that, right? But to be fair, I tried those. I wasn't so lucky. So that is a gamble, right? There is no guarantee that you find somebody like compatible with you, and also like especially if you don't like the work and you actually just do it to find someone, it's not gonna be a fun time for you. And all the other more free time way is completely occupied by online dating, right? It's pretty uncommon, like not just uncommon. It's there's like not much occasion, not much room to meet someone on any other level. I mean, you can go party, right? That's like one thing. But if you don't like to go to party, it can be a hard time, right? Because most people are for themselves, and people are kind of like in a tunnel vision, especially in public spaces. We will get to that later. So let's get in. Something more about the ideology part and the political part. It's people tend to talk about the downfall or something like that, but of course not in the way as at least I see it. And also they link problems to different causes than I maybe would, and it usually just reflects what the government tells them to. Also, something that people are pretty unaware of is in how much a lot of spaces the government is like behind pulling the strings. Like there's like a lot of like almost like kids like shows that are run by the government, and it's not that people don't know, it's they know, but they don't know the importance of it. they think it's like, right, it's individuals working for the government, right? And it's like this agenda is like it it didn't started yesterday, right? So it's like a continuing show. People are getting more and more used to it, and of course, if it would have started with or like, let's say you would take like people lefties from the 80s and you would show them what they do today, and they probably would say that like that's crazy, right? But since like the uh, how you say it, like the resistance, the tolerance is like so low. It's like with a drug, right? That they need more and more and more. Yeah, I don't know, mate. And yeah, of course, the bad guys are Trump, Putin, and Nazis, right? I think that's like the main three things I hear all the time. Or not Nazis, but AfD voters, like even even a bigger brand, I would say, right? Um, let's get over to the aesthetics of the city, right? I mean, to be fair, most of it has been bombed in 45, but it's not just about architecture. Um, it's like Berlin, especially in a Germany sense, right? If you think about Germany, you think about clean streets, people being punctual all the time, following the rules, right? Shit like that. Even standing at a red light, even though nobody is around, right? Most German thing to do, but like Berlin is the complete opposite of all that. Berlin is completely filthy. Nobody obeys the rules, and it's the complete opposite, right? And I wrote down the more dirty, the more real, like that it's like to a point where I don't know if you could imagine that like your local graffiti kiddies, if they would be like running the city, it kind of feels like that. Like there's like a lot of shit being like tolerated, especially because people are just trusting themselves, right? And there's no real community part, so we don't have like the boomers or anyone to tell kids to don't do shit or something like that. So if you see like somebody spraying something, you're not going there. Like you're not risking your ass for this bullshit of a city, right? And either way, it's so dirty and filthy anywhere. Either way, so a little bit of graffiti is not even gonna like nobody's gonna notice. Right, there's so much stickers, graffitis everywhere, that like people, that, right? Um, and yeah, it's like of course the architecture is being pretty bland, and like all the new shit they they are building is just Minecraft houses, right? It's just rectangles and white and I don't know. It's like and also not anything affordable either. Yeah, and then you have like this like multicultural part, right? It's we have like a saying in Germany, alles so richtig, aber nichts so ganz. Like of everything a little, but nothing as a whole, and it's just like so many different impulses that like it's I don't know, it reminds me of the map of Germany before it was unified, right? Like all these like little dots, and yeah, you can say you can enjoy it for maybe one day or something, right? I think probably Berlin is the best city to be a tourist in, than a citizen. So to have like this like complete overwhelming impulses of like every culture of the planet or something, and people speaking every different language, right? And like it's to a point where it feels like half of the time people are not speaking German, and even less of the half people seem to be German, right? Um, yeah, I don't know. And also like how can the aesthetics go so much down? I feel like the people, like they get trained to get into this tunnel vision, to just block out like all these um like yeah sensor inputs, um and also like for more to take an example, like smell, right? Like you have just on certain days and certain parts it just smells like fucking super garbage shit, like there's just smells sometimes in this city you cannot explain. It's like way beyond dog shit, way beyond pooped what you call it, pampers that have been like rotting for 2 months in a garbage bin or something like. And as well, of course, you see a lot of like fucked up people, right? Because I don't know, it's like the we say in Germany, sich gehen lassen, like to let yourself loose or something, like to like just to like run it into I don't know how to say it. You maybe know what I mean, right? When you completely lose it and you just give up basically, and you just let it roll, and you don't give a fuck anymore, right? And a lot of those people, um, so I think that's why people get into this like kind of tunnel vision. Um, mm, mm, mm. Yeah. Also, of course, it materializes into the real life, right? Where people are just on the phone, or at least with earplugs or something. And it's not that like all the shit I'm saying, like maybe not the political stuff too much, but there's a lot of shit of this that is also applying to me, right? I'm just trying to observe here what this city does to people. And there's like always a kind of distance you want to have to Berlin, right? And interestingly enough, then something a little bit ski is like the party scene, right? And I can tell like a little story. When I was working at the supermarket for a couple of years, there was a trans woman working there. It was before I went down into this like right wing AfD, Nazi, conspiracy, Zionism, Prison Planet, like all this like kind of stuff. That's like kind of the new meta for me. There was a lot of other shit I was researching before that, but a lot of shit just didn't make much sense, and or it didn't give me a complete answer, right? I was a bit more on the left side. It's like the billionaires, and I mean I think it's still the billionaires, right? But there's a bit more to the picture than that, just that. But so I was like doing some stuff with this trans woman, and she is like really a character of herself. I'm not gonna, I'm not, that's like, I think like one of the only persons that would really be mad at me if I tell too much about her. So I'm just trying to keep it short, and to be fair, I don't want to talk about her. But she was working at a club at one point, at a nightclub, and she told me some stories of stuff she saw and stuff she did. And I'm not gonna talk much about it, but I wrote down sexual atrocities, right? Because I don't know, for me, sexuality is something holy, or something special, something romantic, something where it's like a thing that if you like fuck it up too much, I think it gets to a point where it's broken beyond repair. But that's just my sense of things. And of course, like everything you could think about in the sexual sense has happened in this city already multiple times. um, and that's something, of course. Um, and yeah, let's talk a bit about, because like all this shit sounds like a little hippie village, basically, like if the hippies took over, which would be not as bad as right. It sounds kind of charming, but to be fair, the next point is capitalism, right? Because it a bit more reminds me of, especially since we've been talking about the party scene. um there is this like movie called Route 68, I think, or Route 66 or something. Um, yeah, I think maybe I should have looked it up. It's a really interesting movie, and like a guy is going on a road trip. It's like with this like magic 8 ball stuff, and at one point in the movie, he comes to a city, and like what was it, Euphoria, or something, Euphoria Land or Euphoria City or so. I think it was just Euphoria, and like the whole city's concept was that um, they had like a bunch of young kids and people working for the state. Like everything was like, or that was like, that was it, what it looked like a lot of people were just working for the state, and they were getting paid with drugs. And then they worked, and then they got drugs, and then they worked a bit more, and then they went to party, and that was like the whole scheme. And then they had like these like basically, yeah, slaves, drug slaves. And it kind of reminds me, right? You just go to work at the supermarket to be able to buy your drugs and have fun and feel like somewhat like a human, or something, and just to go back and work again for your little drugsies. Um, yeah. So capitalism is a thing. For example, we have like a somewhat beautiful riverside in Berlin, um, and like the whole riverside is like being owned by corporations. It's like something people told me a couple of times. I'm not familiar. I couldn't tell you which building is owned by who, but that's what I've heard. That like a lot of beautiful riverside is being or got purchased by big corporations. Um, and then yeah, you just have a lot of um, like, if you think again about, like, of course you have like McDonald's and the big brands, right, like in every city, but I think a bit more special in Berlin is like and also like something Friedrichshain is known for, that you have like these like completely posh, overpriced stores. Um, Interestingly enough, sometimes for just for one thing, for like a super special thing, and then they have like this like fancy DIY store for it, where you can tell it's more about the like it's more about the experience of buying than what you're actually buying, right? So it's like even further down the consumer rabbit hole, where it's almost just like um how Obi-Wan would say, like they have become the very thing they've sworn to destroy. They wanted to be like this, like family owned and like local and like decent like this, but that yeah, it's a scam, right? And so you just have like these like three options, basically. You can buy like the usual luxury brands and stuff like that, like this like whole overpriced global, yeah, thing, like what all the normies go completely hard on. Then you have like the like this like eco-friendly, new agey Friedrichshain little Storsky, um, which is also hella expensive. And then you just and the third option is just like the complete usual food from the market, from the supermarket, and or like the like normal cheap, supposedly cheap goods, and they're also completely overpriced and super inflation, right? And yeah, and also like these like store and Friedrichshain also wrote down, like these are like, they're like kind of good mensch brands. It's like, it's about like the feeling. It's about like, this feels like a nice store, this feels like a nice product, right? It's not really about the truth. And like, as like, yeah, Yeah. Um, yeah. Uh, I can't decipher my own writing. What is this? Everything has its own store. Yeah, I said that already, dog. Yeah, a dog barber, bro. Yeah, we had a dog barber, which actually opened close to me. I think it actually was just open for a couple months and then it closed down again. So it seems to be that people close to my living seem to be somewhat reasonable. And it seems to be not the most uncommon thing, right? But a fucking dog barber, right? A dog barber. Like, and then like the same people that go to the dog barber, like the same people who are like voting the left and voting for a better world, and that we need, and the people supporting that we take like every refugee off the fucking planet because we have this like moral debt we need to pay the world or something, right? And then they go to a fucking dog barber. Holy shit. And yeah, and that's actually the end of it. People are totally LARPing. Like, it's a complete LARP fest. Um, and it's like the thing with good mention, with normies, with sheep. Like, it's always about what they get told to and what they see, right? And when the government or like the powers that be, whatever, are like making this show and like showing them this is what, good mention does and stuff like that, they just copy it and then they LARP as it, and then they feel like they have like they live at the moral the moral capital of the world, right, where the people are the most awakened, right? And that they live the future, like the future of cultural connection, the future of humanity, and it's a dark thought. It's a dark thought, and that's something that's what I think. I think that at some point everything will be turned into Berlin. Everything will lose its aesthetics. Everything will be this like LARPing capitalistic dystopia, and where, I don't know, you have like all these like, and like the advertisements and the how the people make their stores and stuff like that. Like, everything is so toxic positivity, and it's like if you're like running around on happy pills all the time. Like, I think about this like scene where like Lisa from The Simpsons takes the happy pills and sees like these fucking yellow smileys everywhere, and I don't even have to take pills to have that experience over here. It's like because it's like, again, this like natural response of the people, that they feel that it's not going so well, and there's problems, big problems, and then but then, like, when they try to solve it, they solve it in the wrong way. They provide the wrong solution, because they might feel the same problem but they don't see the same cause, or not, at least as I. For example, you have like a lot of feministic stuff, right? And then it's like there was like this slogans. They had like a bunch of posters around where it was like break the silence, and that women need to connect again and stuff like that, and to be fair, I personally feel like women don't seem to have too much problems connecting with one another, if I'm honest, especially if I remind myself again that on this like online dating bullshit I did, there were women looking for just people to do stuff with. They weren't even interested in a love relation or something. They just wanted to meet people, right? And they're probably also gonna get that, They're probably also gonna get that. I imagine you would do that as a dude, right? As like a sub-5 dude or something, and you would go out to the internet, to a fucking dating app, looking for friends to do stuff with. Holy shit, bro. Like, where have we gotten, man? Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm trying to keep it a bit more short. How much we got? 40 minutes is about right. So yeah, just some little insights. There's probably a lot of more stuff. Okay, one last thing, right? Christianity. It's still a thing. There is still churches, and I actually, because I had like yeah, some, I don't know, harsh moments. I gave the church a shot, and to be fair, I also just like the ambience of a church, right? Because I also got grown up with it. I was actually lately in a church just next to the kindergarten where I've grown up, right? And in that kindergarten also, back then when I was like fucking 5 years old, we went in that church. And especially as a kid, right, you have like this massive building. And that's actually a really nice church, really OG church from like the 1900. And, or somewhat OG, of course. And I went to the like Sunday church thing. Because I was like at least like hoping, I don't know, maybe, there's like a nice blonde trad wife, that was a bit my thought, not gonna lie. But either way, I don't know. I was also a bit open-minded, but I was kind of hoping, that, maybe, even though, I think a bit problematic about this whole Christianity thing. I still know it holds, in my personal view, it's unfortunately the backbone of like the modern West. But at least it's something, right? It's at least something that holds a bit of tradition together. So I was hoping to maybe, yeah. So I went to the Sunday church, and it was completely empty. There were 3 people. It was a Andrew Tate type of guy, like an almost 40-year-old with like muscles, and like he looked like he was like driving a Mercedes. And then there was an old couple. That was it, and me. And I was like thinking, there's not gonna be a blonde trad wife girly either, but maybe I don't know. I can, I don't know. But there was nobody. Like a boomer, like a grandma, like 80s, like 80 or 90-year-old couple, and this like Andrew Tate guy, and me, and the 2 pastors, and yeah, so. So much about religion and or Christianity. Oh, to be fair, I was also okay. Let's do the last part. Oh my god, I really wanted to keep this a bit shorter. I was with my dad in the church because my dad is a Christian, and he asked me if I want to. And I'm open minded, and I was like, yeah, why not? And the church my dad picked for us to go was like a multicultural church, and like the building wasn't even a church. It was like just like a hall, and they did like this like Gottesdienst, just like what they do, the prayers and stuff, and they just did it in the hall, and it wasn't even a church or something, which is, I mean, of course, like it was still okay, but like it was not. It was not like you had like a core, like a group of black girls singing. I mean, it's not bad, it was not bad. Like, to be fair, like it was just not what I expected. I went with my dad to the church in the same way how I did lately, because I wanted to have a nice church building and like this like feeling of tradition, and to be fair, it's like kind of showing, right? Because the church my dad went with me with was completely full, or not full, but there was a lot of people. It was like maybe 80 people or something like that, young and old, white, black, Asian, everything. To be fair, it wasn't, I mean, since there were so many other cultures, it was like maybe 30% white. The rest was like something else. So and that church was like full, and like the like nice old church building with like the, it's only a boomer couple in there. It's quite telling, isn't it? Either way, that's it for now. That's it for now. Yeah. last thing I want to say, I hope you don't live in Berlin, and if you do, you might think about fleeing. Except you're a tourist, then you might think about um, looking at it for yourself, just to go back where you came from and be happy about that it's not Berlin. And yeah, that's it for now, and I would say see you later.